I look like Mr. Spot.
Good afternoon, Facebook community. I'm here with Gary Parker. This is Jennifer Noreen. And as you know, Gary and I chatted up a little bit every month to see what's going on with Barbecue to You. This month, we wanted to talk a little bit about spring cleaning and getting ready for spring barbecues and what Gary has to say about preparing your backyard grill for safe and fun barbecuing. And then we also want to talk a little bit about catering and how to get barbecue to you at your next event. How does that work? What do they do? What do they don't do? Things like that. So, Larry, can you
Absolutely.
share from your wealth of knowledge about setting up for spring barbecuing? Because
Yeah.
most people's grills are like in their backyard with mold on them right now. So,
Yeah, that's right. So I talk about this all the time. I'm just going to say it every day. Matter of fact, yesterday we were closed all day long. Actually, it takes us all night. So we closed at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, and
mhm.
we didn't get finished with our pit cleaning and hood cleaning and fire inspection and all that kind of stuff until 6:30 yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
So we clean we deep clean every 6 months here at the store, and that means we take the big hood apart and we pressure wash the inside and out, and then right after that the fire suppression system is tested and checked, make sure it's nice and healthy, and then we have real fun because then we take that big pit apart and the whole kitchen turns black because we're getting so much stuff out of it, right? And we have to do this every 6 months. And if we don't do that, all the air pathways, clog up, and there's all kinds of things that go on with it, right? And so we work all day long just getting that cleaned up, and then we work the rest of the day just getting the mess that we made cleaned up, right?
I'm sure. Wow.
Yep.
And how often
So
do you do that? Once a quarter? Or?
yeah, we do them every 6 months. So
Wow.
we're doing it now in March, right?
Mhm.
So that by April 1st, we're all set up and ready to go, right?
Yeah.
And then we will go through the summer with that pit going nonstop, right?
Mhm.
And then in September, late September, early October, I will do it again, and we'll set up for
Wow.
winter,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it's a big process, and then we do other things too. We fix like burned out lights, and we've got tables back there that get messed up, and we got to pull them apart and take them and fix them, and we fix the dishwashers, and we fix the walk-ins, and we clean the freezers, and we clean the refrigerators, right?
So spring cleaning at Barbecue to you. Now you've got it all done and you're ready for
Yep,
the busy spring summer season. So what
that's right.
about if I'm at home and I've got a grill that I got last year and I sort of know how to use it, not really, but
Yep,
now it's all moldy and gross. So
yep. Let's
what
get
do I
it.
do?
Let's get it. I like burning them, and I've talked to you about this before. With the big pits, I use a blowtorch thing to clear it all out. But those small backyard things, a lot of times you can just get the burners going, make sure you're safe, make sure your bottles are good.
Mm-hmm.
Get that fire on there, get it good and hot. Start get you a good metal brush. I like the ones that are the spirally, not the ones with the little steel prongs poked into the wood, because those, when you use those, the prongs just come out when you get to scrubbing real hard, and then all of a sudden you've got all these little pieces of metal shaving laying around in your grill, and you don't like that. So I like the ones where they put the bristle in between the wire and they twist it so that it's locked in, and it also scrapes a lot better. So you
See
get it
that?
hot, and you sit there and just scrape it really good. It may look a little rusty, whatever. Go get you a vegetable oil spritzer and spritz it with oil, while you do that, and it'll just clean up really nice and be all ready to go for you.
And so you use that special kind of brush so you don't lose bristles into the grill. Is that one of the reasons?
Bristles into the grill, yeah, because you
Right.
don't know where they go, and sometimes they get stuck in little crevices there on the grill, and the
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you got one in your hamburger, right?
Right.
And you
Mm-hmm.
just don't use that kind of brush, right?
Yep. That can't be fun. So, and is this for using or grilling meat right on the grill, or is there ever a time when you use foil or something else?
Well, I use a variety of things. Depends on what I'm doing. For meats, no, I go straight to the grill with it. If I'm doing vegetables, stuff like that, then what I like is the little fine mesh pizza screens. You've seen them in the store. They're round and like a pizza. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I use about a 12-inch one on my grill. And then what that's really nice is the openings are really really small. right?
Right.
And so you can put your diced vegetables and stuff on there, spritz them with your olive oil, put your salt and pepper and seasonings on, and it's really easy to turn them, and rotate them without without them falling down through the grill.
So a pizza screen on top
Yeah.
of the grill itself, and so you
Yeah.
put your meat on the pizza screen.
No, I put the meat over on the grill. When I'm doing vegetables, the sides and corns and
Oh, sorry.
all,
Okay.
all those
Gotcha.
side items. You don't want it falling down in between
No.
those wide gaps, right? So
See, that just
that's what I use
shows you
anyways.
how much I know about this topic. So this is good. I'm getting
I can
educated.
tell. I
Very,
can
very good.
tell.
I'm used to
Yeah.
wrapping up
So
on the cob and throwing it on there, and that's about it. Maybe
what do
zucchini.
you do when it falls in? How
You
do you
don't
get
eat
it
that.
out?
You don't eat that one. Yeah. So I don't only have meat at my barbecue. So maybe I
Okay.
have brisket, chicken, or sausage. Maybe I have a couple of those.
All right.
Can I cook chicken and brisket right next to each other, or chicken
I
and steak?
can. I've done it. You know, there's a lot of people that say don't do that, and I don't know why exactly. I've tried to study it before and didn't find anything that was credible that made a legitimate argument not to do it. And so,
Yeah.
I have stuff on there. I have all kinds of stuff on there. So,
So there's no contamination danger or whatever.
yeah,
So
there's no process. Not at those temperatures anyway. Everything is dead at that temperature.
yeah, I would think so, right. So what about the other parts of my meal? So you talked about veggies, you talked about, maybe potatoes or corn or whatever. But what about setting out drinks and mayonnaise things like potato salad, macaroni salad?
Hey man, get that stuff on ice. I go to parties a lot, and and I'm chilling out, but I'm watching the average person, right? And they've usually got some kind of table set up, and they've got the potato salad in a bowl over there, whether it be mustard based or potato or mayonnaise based or whatever. But it's very sensitive to heat, and it just sits there all day long, right? And people kind of do their grazing as they're doing their stuff, but it's still just sitting there. It's not staying cold, right? And you got to keep those things cold. The coleslaws, the potato salads. You got to keep beans hot, right? They can't get cold because they'll get silly on you.
So what
You
do you
know,
use to keep beans hot?
I use my grill, right? Yeah, because I've got a grill with a burner on the side, so I can do that and just put the heat really low, or I can just let it sit there and use the residual heat off the grill, right? After I'm through cooking.
Got it.
But you just have a stainless steel pan, and you can keep them over there, and it keeps them at a good temperature. And if you're not going to eat that stuff, if you're done, put it away, right?
Sure. Yeah. So what is a typical catering meal that you deliver? What's your most popular request?
Oh yeah, those are always really good. So
Mhm.
I guess the most popular, the number one is brisket. Um, Most people will do like a brisket with coupled with a chicken, to
Mhm.
do a kind of a beef and a poultry option, right? And then by far and away, the most popular side is mac and cheese. So we
Mhm.
do tons and tons of mac and cheese right at these parties. Um,
I would
and
think so.
then
Yeah.
a lot of times they'll use the mac and cheese as their hot side, and then they'll use either potato salad or coleslaw. It's really interesting to watch. Which family likes coleslaw, which family likes potato salad, right? Some of the
Yeah.
more corporate parties, they'll do both, right? They'll split down the middle and on the cold side and do both of them, right?
Mhm.
Just like the corporate parties, a lot of times will split mac and cheese and beans, right? Knowing that there's all this stuff. But when you do the private family stuff, it's always interesting to me. Or is this a potato salad family or is this a coleslaw family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep. So you show up with the meat hot, obviously, you keep it hot and you serve it.
Yeah.
And you
Yep.
show up with the cold sides and the
Right.
warm sides, right? And
Right.
you set them up
Absolutely.
and keep them warm. And if you can drop it off at an event or you will serve it, is that you that serves it or do you have a team or people that work with you on that? Or
Yeah. On my full service, there's a team of us that go out, right? So full services, I bring my tables and tablecloths, and we bring the chafing dishes and all the sterno you need. So we're in, and everything has already been prepped at the kitchen right here at the store. So hot things are hot and cold things are cold, and they're put in special containers that a company called Cambro makes for us, right? That allow us to transport food at the proper temperatures, right? So and they're good for like the heat side. They're those boxes are good for holding heat on something for like 4 hours, right?
Mhm.
Before I have to shoot it and put it back in an oven or something like that, right? So
Mhm.
I basically got a 4 hour travel time on those things. It'll work the same way with cold. It'll keep things just like I just pulled them out of the walk-in, right? And the idea behind that is so I transport that way, and that's the legal way, by the way, based on health
Mhm.
department standards, right? So then when the guys and I get there, we set up tables, tablecloths. So we get our chafing dishes out. We get them all set up. We get the plates out. We get the sterno into things. We get the water in. We've got heat sources in those chafing dishes for the hot things, and then the cold things we've got them loaded with ice, right? So you're going to take it out of your Cambro and set it right on a bed of ice to keep it cold, right? Those stainless steel pans also do a good job at dispensing heat and cold into the
So
foods.
you
And so,
so you bring all that. What
yeah,
does the party planner have to supply anything for you to show up and cater? Do they
not
have
on
to
my full
supply
service,
a
but on
table
the
with a white tablecloth or?
only time that that becomes a question, the answer is no to your direct question. But what what a lot of times happens at special events like weddings, there's a color code or a color
Mhm.
preference, and so at weddings is kind of an exception to that rule because I asked the host or the bride, what are your colors? I tell them I have white that I'm bringing, but if they want a light purple or something like that, then usually they'll have the tables at the venue and they'll have their own tablecloths there, and then I just start with the chafing dishes and stuff. So we make sure we match, right? So there's certain events where you've got to be matchy to the event, right?
Yeah. So I just need to email you at gparker@texasbbq2u.com,
Or
or
off the
I
website.
probably prefer they go on your website and click on catering and take a look at the menu. There's a full menu on the site, and I can actually share that with everyone here. Um, it's pretty extensive what you have on your site, pretty detailed.
Yeah, we
There's big,
pretty
beautiful
much offer
pictures.
everything.
Makes you hungry.
Oh, man, I love that tray.
I know that's an amazing tray, right? And then you can actually call, you can email, you can uh, think about it and then call or email.
Okay.
This is
So
pretty.
there's so
This is
there's a good
impressive.
example. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see the table set up there. That was a wedding we did over at Chambers Bay
Hmm.
for a good friend of ours, and you can see the length of the table, um, and you can see how this is the very end of the table, so you can see us with the breads and the condiments there.
Hmm.
But behind it, you can see where the sides are, the meats, and everything. Right? That's what we come in and that's what we set up. Right? So the hostess doesn't have to do on a full service. Usually the people that are hiring us don't have to do anything. We're there. We're ready. We're self sufficient. We try to be as invisible as possible.
Yeah. And just show up and take care of their guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can download the full catering menu here if you would like. Just lots of information. You can have him drop off the food or he can serve it for you. Looks like there's some options of things you can order. Do you need a special heads up on anything? Like
Yeah.
if
I
there's an
mean,
item you need to know sooner than later, or
the website pretty much has it right. The thing that helps us most know what you need, right? When you do the ask, at least from the basics, like, are you looking for full service? Are you looking for me just to prep up the food and do a drop off, right? So we do let's talk a little bit about the drop off service too. Drop off catering is, and the reason I use that terminology again, that's the same thing as the catering license defines, right? So drop off catering is I make everything at the store that you want, and then I carry it in the same containers, the Cambros, that kind of stuff, and then I just show up at a certain time with that food, and then everything it takes around serving is up to you when we do drop off, right? Whereas in full service, when we show up, we bring our tables and chafing dishes and all that kind of stuff, and set that all up before we set the food up, right? So, and then we have a couple of us that go with that on the full service, and we'll get you through the line. We make sure everybody's got what they need. We help people that need help, get their plates and get back to their tables for the party, so on and so forth. Those kind of things, right? I mean, we're full service, right? when we do those full service caterings.
Yep. Yep. And your site has just about everything you need to plan for
Yep.
how many people and how much meat you need, how many sides, pretty detailed on that.
Yep. We try to be.
Great.
And, like I said, it's just the thing that helps you most is when you go to the website, are you looking for full service? Are you looking for drop off? Having that decision made really helps us out a lot because, that's the first thing I'm going to get to the bottom of when I talk to you. Right. And we're planning these things. Which one are you looking for? Because there's different pricing structures for this stuff. Right. That we have to manage. And so I've got to know, what you're thinking. And sometimes, and it's okay if you don't, because sometimes with some customers, we quote it both ways, if they're not sure themselves, but we do just need to know, what you're looking for, and we need to know kind of have a good idea what you want for your menu, right? So how many meats, how many sides, which meats, which sides, and that'll get your quote to you faster, right? And you can, we can go from there. And then don't hesitate, because don't sit around and call me, 2 days before you want to have a party and say, hey, I need 200 people's worth of food, delivered at 10:30 a.m. for my company party. Can you do that?
Sure.
Because I'm gonna go no, right?
Yeah, not happening.
But I need on the initial order, I need at least 2-3 weeks in front to settle out all the stuff. And then I need final head counts and final changes. I need those at least 3 days in front of the actual delivery, right? So I can adjust.
So if you're planning on something for spring, you're approaching the time to get a hold of Gary and talk to him about
it. That's right.
Yep.
What's the time?
Yep. And do you have minimums on catering orders? Are there like certain pound of meat or certain number of people, or how's that work?
Yeah. So on the drop off stuff, we try to keep that stuff up around 15-20 pounds of meat, stuff like that. Anything, and the reason for that is anything under that, it's just as easy for you to come in and pick it up at the store, right? Because it starts to approach just a regular dinner order, at that level, right? So we really, I don't, because I deliver all that stuff personally, right? And so I don't like running up to Paulsboro with with what DoorDash could deliver, right? But if you're going to order enough for 10, 12 people, stuff like that, it's going to be worth it, and we'll get that out there to you. Won't make you go through one of the services, right?
And what distance will you travel?
I'll go all the way up to Paulsboro when I deliver. Because how far that is from Gig Harbor. So I'll go up and down the peninsula, and then for the Tacoma side, on the other side of the bridge, I'll go out as far as Puyallup. I go over to Fife. I go over to South Tacoma.
Okay.
I've been down as far as DuPont before. Doing drop offs and things occasionally, because it's just driving it there, right? And as long as the order's big enough, it makes sense. Now you asked about limits. So on the full service, though, one of the important changes we made this year to full service is no full services under 75 people, right? And it's just a necessary thing, right?
Because of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And last year we were a little bit more relaxed with it, with all the COVID stuff going on. We were doing 40 people or so, but now that things are kind of back in gear, right? And we've got so many big weddings and things like that come along. We've gone back to that minimum of 75 people for the full service.
So if you want full service, which is someone showing up and serving the food, hot food, cold sides, you don't do drinks, do you? Do you bring drinks?
No.
Drinks?
Occasionally, if you're doing like the air shows that we do, those kind of things, a lot of times I'll supply drinks, right? And they're usually the Coke products, the sodas and water, stuff like that is what I'll do. I never do alcohol. I'm not licensed to do alcohol, so somebody else always has to do that.
Okay. So if you want full service, you have to have 75 people minimum.
Yeah.
And if you just want drop off, you're flexible. Is that right?
Pretty flexible. It needs to be, like I said, a reasonable sized order for me to drop it off. Else, I'm going to ask you just to go through DoorDash or Uber or somebody like that to help drop it.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people do that, by the way. It's really not a big deal, right? But if you're up there, 10, 12 people's worth and or above, then usually the ticket makes sense.
Got it. Well, good to know. So plan early, plan often. Get a hold of Gary on his email address we've got listed here, or stop by the Point Fosdick store and talk to him about it. But talk to him about it soon if you're planning for spring, because deadlines are coming, right? You're talking 2 or
Yeah,
3
those
weeks.
graduation parties, start
Yeah,
thinking about them now. Because you're not gonna find many of us catering or having open slots on weekends in
yeah.
June. You know, and so you're pushing it. You're good right now. You're good probably through the most of April, but by the time you get in May, you're pushing the envelope pretty
Yeah,
hard.
it just gets too busy too fast. And then summer comes and you've got 4th of July and all kinds of crazy. So
Right.
very good. Well, it was good to talk with you, Gary. Good to hear more about your catering business and how that kind of works. If you've got more
Yep.
questions, check out the website. Check out my dog in the background if you like. I think he's kind of obvious back there. Check out the website and get a hold of him soon so that you can plan early. It sounds like if you want full service, you've got to have at least 75 people, but he'll probably flex. If I know Gary, talk to him about it. He might give you an exception. But let us know what your questions are in the comments. And if you've got ideas or things you want to hear Gary talk about in future fireside chats, let us know what that is as well. So good to see you, Gary. We'll talk again soon.
All right. See you guys.